Now, in January this year, when it was realized the EFSF was not big enough and it needed to be expanded in size, but there was no political will for putting more money in, what we suggested was, instead of fully guaranteeing bond issuance by troubled economies, even if the EFSF offered partial guarantees, say only against the first third of losses, that should also send the appropriate political signal that the EU, the euro area, 17 countries thought that the economy of this country was going to improve, that these countries were solvent and would not default on their debt. And this would be a way of increasing confidence and lowering borrowing costs. The EFSF was never lending to Greece, and we made sure when we made the recommendation to only suggest that it be applicable to countries that were not Greece, because Greece was insolvent from the start and it was very clear. And in fact, the reason for EU policymakers to be having these discussions now is they failed to make the distinction at the beginning between an insolvent country such as Greece and other countries such as Ireland and Italy and Spain, which were only facing temporary problems. The initial plan was that the EFSF was only going to make relatively safe loans to troubled countries. And you know that loans are safer than shares, bonds are safer than shares. And now a new way of thinking about this is, instead of the EFSF money, which has stayed the same, being in the form of safe loans, you are taking on more risk. So in that sense, you can make that same amount of money go further. What has increased is not the headline amount of money. What has increased is the risk that you're willing to take with it. And that's the trick behind the leverage. As a political signal, I think this has some good potential, but it would probably need additional support from the European Central Bank. It's, I think, necessary, but since July, when the crisis has become systemic, this particular proposal is probably no longer sufficient. ECB help will still be required. The final end-it-all solution was never going to come in such a short time. What happened last year when the Greek problems were first revealed was that the economic problems were rather limited and the political space to handle them was quite substantial. But having failed to sort out Greece over a period of 18 months, you cannot realistically expect anybody to have confidence in these same policymakers to sort out the much bigger problems now that confront us in Italy and Spain in a much shorter period of time. So I think what we will only see is, yes, buying more time, which does allow you to make the kind of structural reforms and changes that can enhance credibility of individual member states, such as Italy and Spain. But that time is crucially needed. Without that time, we are all going down the pot.